Well, happy hump day, you handsome lot. Behind me I've got an F30 31 BMW that's got a little bit of a suspension fault. Well, suspension fault or knocking noise, and I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Shh. Right, well that's enough of that. Let's hop in the car and I'm going to show you what the customer is complaining of. Right, well now I'm sat in the vehicle, what we're going to be doing is making sure the ignition is on, engine not started, just to make sure that the steering lock's not active. Now we're going to grab hold of the steering wheel, we're going to give it a vigorous shake side to side, and you should be able to hear a little bit of a knocking noise. Can you hear that? Let me just get out of the car. Grab hold of that steering wheel again, shake side to side for you. Now that is probably the worst one that I've heard up to now. Right, well now I've showed you what the customer's complaining of, let's go ahead and fix the fault. Now I'm going to get the car, we're going to get it up to about working height so we can give it a little bit of a shake. Right, now I've got the vehicle half ready. What we're going to be doing is grab the wheel at 2:45 or 9:15, whatever you want to do, and give it a damn good shakeroonie, and you should be able to hear it doing a little bit of a knocking noise. Right, now let's do the most horriblest parts of this job, and that's getting it fully raised in the air and all them under tray bolts out. There's like a million gazillion. Why do they need so many? I do not know. Right, well now with all them screws out the belly pan, which is there, and the millions and gazillions of them there. But however, at some point in its life, this car has had an EGR recall. And the technician who has dropped that onto the belly panel, let me know your address and I will post it back to you so you can put it back in your chucker drawer. Now the failed component in this, well it's not failed, it's just worn out, and it is called a thrust bush, which is located into your steering rack. Now I've heard and seen so many people have brand new steering racks because of this fault. Repair bills of over £1,000. But BMW do a repair kit for it, and that is the part number, and you also need, where has it gone? It's here somewhere. A special tool, which I will find now in a second, hang on, which is that one there, to be able to remove this cap out of the steering rack and replace that bush in there, which I'm going to show you exactly how to do it now. Now the first thing I like to do when I'm carrying out this repair is get yourself a wire brush and give that cap a damn good cleaner-oonie. Now with that area all nice and clean, what I like to do is get yourselves a little bit of a paint pen and put a little bit of a reference mark. Now this is nothing to go off, this is just because I like to mark everything. Now what we're going to do, you've got a special tool, fit it into the steering rack, get the appropriate spanner to fit the tool, and then we're going to unwind it. Now they are very tight, so please be cautious of that. Now with that cap removed, we can get ourselves a pair of pointy nose pliers. Sometimes these come out first time, sometimes they can be a little bit of a piggeroonie. We get in there. Oh. Yes. And that now should just pull out. And there we go. That is the culprit causing all this knocking. Now with that thrust bush out, we can have a look and clearly see where it has been wearing. And if we have a little look at the brand new one, which has been modified, it's got these wear pads on it. Should we go ahead and get this in? I think we should. Now before we go ahead and put it back in, what we're going to do is get some grease from BMW. This is the proper stuff for it. I'm going to give it a good coating. And that grease. Oh, my fingers are covered in grease now. I can't press my camera. Hang on, I can do it with my little finger. No. Now before I put it in, I'm just going to try and put my camera up there to show you what's knocking. You see it in there? Perhaps not, but it's worth a try if you can. You see? Right, let's get it put in. Now when you're putting them in, please make sure that that little groove there is running in line with the steering rack itself, so the ram can slide back into on it, and they should, if done right, pop in like that. Perfect. Now in the kit you do get a new spring. If you have a little look, that one's green, the new ones are blue, like it is an updated kit. But what I do is put a little bit of grease on the bottom of it, so when we push it in and it locates on that nipple, it is sitting perfect and it's not flopping about. Or there we go. We can go ahead now and get the brand new cap put back on. Now when you go ahead and put the cap back on, make sure that you do not cross thread it, because if you do that, you're going to have to put your hand in your pocket and get yourselves a brand new steering rack. Now once it's finger tight, we can go ahead and get the tool and get it tightened up. Right, now with that cap all tightened up, what we're going to, normally they sit flush to the steering rack. You can over tighten them and destroy motors and all sorts, so you have to be very careful. I'm sure there is a special tool for doing it to check the play in it, but I have done so many like this and never ever had a problem. Now before we go putting all them under trays back on, we're going to give it a big check-a-rooney. Shake side to side. There's absolutely no knocking in now whatsoever, but we're going to drop the car down and check it at the steering wheel as well. Right, now with the car running, we're going to grab the steering wheel, go full lock right hand down. Now if it's too tight, that steering wheel, when you remove your finger, will stay in place. I just remove my leg, that steering wheel is going back, so I know that that is pretty much same way the other side. Pretty much perfect. Right, now with the vehicle back up in the air, and once you are happy with everything, let's flip the camera around. Let's go back, and what I've done is put a little red mark there on the new cap to the original reference that I put before I took it off. Right, let's go ahead now and put all this belly pan back on. Now one thing that I did forget to mention is when you put the new cap on, that little rubber bung, you've got to push that in because it does come separately. Yeah, I always forget to mention that bit. And there we have it, that car now is back on all four wheels. Let's take it down the road for a little bit of a test drive. But before we do, we're going to give that steering wheel a little bit of a vigorous shake side to side, and we've got no knocking in now whatsoever. This is going to transform the car. Well, it is actually nice to come out of the workshop for a bit of a change. We've got the air conditioning on and it is nice and cold. Now I don't need to go too far in this vehicle because the drive into the workshop is, it's fairly rough, to be honest with you. As you can see, my hands off the steering wheel and that now, we've got no knocking whatsoever. But we're going to go for a drive anyway because I absolutely love these cars. And now we're back after a successful test drive. Now these drive absolutely flawless, these cars do. The customer was complaining as well, he's got a bit of a skittiness on the back end, and when I was underneath the vehicle I did notice that he's got a burst shock absorber, which I'm going to get ordered up and probably get fitted in the next couple of days, because I have got this car until next week I think, because he's away on holiday sunning himself. Why would you want to go on a holiday and have fun? You know, I don't know, jokes. But yeah, anyway, hope you've enjoyed the video and let's get it sent.